K kh g gh, ch ch j jh, t th d d, t th d th n. How many of you believe that education should be an equal opportunity, that every child deserves to go to school? Me too. I'm an educator. At one point, though, I was forced to drop out of college. I was studying abroad and working 4 jobs simultaneously. But when my parents ran out of money, I had to come back home. When someone made fun of me for being a college dropout, I was so fueled in my declaration, I have to complete my education, that while working full time, I completed my bachelor's degree, a master's degree, an MBA, an executive MBA, a law degree, and a PhD. At some point, I was overcompensating, right? I think it was that feeling of inadequacy, but let's go with incompletion. It was that ridicule. It sparked a fire in me, and I wanted to make sure that this never happens to another kid. I teach children about life skills, time management. I help them explore their career options. I want kids to discover their strengths, find their power, and give them hope for a brighter future. But then I noticed that there are so many children living in the slums who will never get the chance to finish even elementary school. Heck, they don't even go to school for the education. When you ask, why do you go to school? It's not to get a better job or a better education, it's to get lunch. I thought that by donating money, I would be able to solve this problem and I would keep these kids in school. But seeing their limited progress and hearing their experiences, I realized that donating money is not the only solution. These kids were dropping out, and the reasons are far beyond what you can imagine. I had to go into the slums myself. If not me, who would? Because that's what I do. I'm an educator. I still remember walking into the slums, and I'm wearing my jacket, my shirt, my tie, because that's how I dress when I'm addressing my students. And everyone is staring at me. So I remove my jacket, I take out my phone, and I search for the school on Google Maps, the classic tourist move. And my friend, he's nudging me, he's like, what are you doing? So put my phone in because these are the slums. You're going to flash your phone around, it's going to be gone in a flash. And so I enter the school. Now, when I enter the school, there's garbage all over the place. There's urine and feces in the hallway. And the stench. Oh my God. The smell. It was so vile, I vomited, not realizing that I'm now contributing to that smell. And it was hot. Just the sheer humidity due to the closeness of space with no fresh air. In this seminar of 200 kids, there was only one fan, and I was sweating profusely. So the principal took pity on me, turns the fan, and gives it to me. I thought I was all altruistic, and I'd say, no, let the kids have the fan. Turns out I'm not. I accepted the fan. And I'm thinking, there goes my Mother Teresa prize. But I did make sure that the next time I was there, I donated a fan so the kids could have fun too. But here's the thing though. Despite the dirt, the smells, the humidity, the filth, these kids are happy. These kids are playing, running around, jumping, shouting, just as you'd expect children to do. These kids are immune to their surroundings. I'm here to teach what I teach all my kids because every child deserves an equal opportunity for education. I keep these kids in school by telling them the value of an education. Education is the only way they would get out of poverty. Education is the only way they would be happy. And these kids, they're ferociously hungry, not just for food, they're ferociously curious. Let me tell you about Priya's hunger. Priya is 6 years old and lives in the same slums where I teach. She lives with her mama now because when she used to live with mama and papa, papa used to beat her every day. Papa used to beat Priya even when Priya was being a good girl. So when they went to live on the streets, there was no food. Mama and Priya were living alone. Priya begged Mama, let's go home and get some food. But Mama left Priya on the streets all alone with no food, and Priya had to do whatever it takes to get food. When I started working with Priya, I had to help her understand how an education can change the future for her and her mama, what an education would do for her. She was only 6 years old though. And I had to help her dream and understand how and what career options she really had if she studies. Whenever I sit with Priya and I ask her, what's your favorite subject? What do you want to do? She tells me the same thing, what she says at the end of all our conversations. I love chicken biryani. I'm asking her what she aspires to be. She tells me what she aspires to eat. She's so sweet and innocent, and she's in school now. She walks kilometers in the slums to her school. And Priya made me realize that there's something else that these children need to be taught. It's happening every day. It's on the news. These children are being picked up. These children are being raped. How many of them are exactly being raped, we'll never know because the children don't have the voices to come out with that. According to the National Crime Records Bureau, 4 children are raped and sexually abused every hour. Every hour, 4 children are raped and sexually abused. When did we start paying attention? Was it after the 10-year-old girl who was raped by her uncles and forced to give birth by the very same uncles who raped her? Or was it after 8-year-old Asifa, who was raped and brutally murdered? 106 rapes per day. 4 out of 10 are children. Something had to be done. I decided I'm going to start a program on sexual abuse awareness and protection. I knew I'd be teaching life skills. I didn't know I'll be teaching survival skills. Instead of telling you more about the program, which I think I will, we're also going to experience it together. So let me tell you the 5-point program that I teach my kids. The first one, look. I tell my kids, be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of what's appropriate to be touched and what's not. 2, ask. I tell my children, when there's danger, ask for help. Here's a problem though. So many of us have tuned out little children coming and asking us for help. Begging is a reality we all deal with. So how are we going to hear these little children's voices? I tell my children, if you're in danger, point to the man and say, look, there's a bad man, help me. I'm sure that will get more of us to pay attention. And when you and I start responding to these cries for help, the attackers are not going to view these children as victims anymore. 3, run. I tell my kids, run. According to karate expert Sensei Yuji Kitano, the best way for children to fight danger, or even adults for that matter, is not to fight, but to run. 4, scream. Like scream as loudly as you can. Scream words like fire. That's even more effective than words like help. And 5, defend. Defend. Hit with the heel of your palm. Fight, poke, punch. Do whatever it takes to defend yourself. Okay, we're going to do this together. Everyone, please stand up. Thank you. Thank you. Repeat after me, the 5-step program. 1, look. Everyone, look. 2, ask. 3, run. 4, scream. 5, defend. That's what my kids do. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you. I want to show you a quick video now because I want you to experience what my children experience. This is Asia's largest slum. Children here have little or no access to education. Besides education, children need to be taught something else. These children are being picked up on the streets. These children are being raped. According to the National Crime Records, 4 children are raped and sexually abused every hour. We can't stop rapists and child molesters, but we can empower our children by making them aware and teaching them to fight. We can give them the power. And finally, I tell my children, find a safe person to talk to in case you have a problem. But this is not as easy as it sounds, though, because then you have children like Sarah. Sarah tells me about her happy family. We have so many conversations about our happy family. She's 12 years old. And she tells me about the time when she comes back from school and mom and she do homework together and mom makes her favorite food. She tells me about the time when she forgot to do homework and mom was scolding her, but dad picks her up in his arms and they giggle together. She tells me about the time when mom and dad took her to the local fair and she rode a merry-go-round for the very first time. But Sarah doesn't remember when she came home from school and saw her parents hanging from a ceiling fan. Sarah doesn't remember when the neighbors were screaming, pulling her parents down, and she wondering, why is mama and papa not moving? Sarah doesn't remember the ambulance taking her dead parents away. She just doesn't remember. When I started working with Sarah, it was very difficult. It was very difficult to get her to talk. She was quiet all the time. But I was relentless. I had to get her back in school. I had to help Sarah. I had to help her dream. I had to help her believe. There's this one song that Sarah and I really like, and it really helped her get through some very difficult times. It's a song which motivates her, and that's what I keep trying to do. I keep trying to motivate her so she stays in school. I'm going to sing that song now. If you'll sing with me, because you know the song and you know the words, if you sing with me, I'll share this recording with Sarah, and I'm sure she'll be very happy to hear everyone sing the song. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. We shall overcome someday. Sarah's in school. It's not easy. Each day is a different challenge, but she's in school. But there's something that still worries me. What if something bad was happening with Sarah? Who would she talk to? Well, she talked to me because I give her my time. But Sarah is currently being raised by her paralyzed grandfather and her grandmother, who's a daily wage earner. None of them have the capacity to talk to Sarah about her life and her problems. There's so many children like that. Whom should they talk to? It's a cultural taboo to speak of menstruation, let alone rape and sexual abuse, especially in a culture that values virginity. People talk about rape outside the home, but they don't want to talk about rape inside the home, especially if it involves family members and friends. Why does rape and sexual abuse happen? I believe it's generally one of two things or two things: a show of power or the abuser's sexual oppression. But I also believe that if we teach children to talk about sex and body parts with parents and teachers, it would empower them. Keep kids in school. School creates a place of safety. It's a way we can break the socio-economic barriers and the caste system in India. Education is power, and power is strength and hope. The end of abuse starts with the kids themselves. When kids understand what is appropriate and inappropriate sexual behavior, they then grow into adults who, instead of continuing the same cycle they see on the streets, now become the protectors, letting them retain their innocence. When you feel empowered, you are not compelled to show your power. After my workshops, my kids walk away with a sense of new confidence. A group of seventh graders came up to me and said, "Bhaiya, when are you coming to our class? That looks like so much fun." Well, it is fun. These kids want now what those kids have: power, strength, and hope. Mother Teresa said, "I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples." I'm only one man. There are only so many schools that I can go to. But what if more of us were looking out for these dangers? What if more of us put our hands out when a little child comes and says, "Help me, I'm scared, there's a bad man"? What if more of us start going into these schools to teach these simple yet life-saving techniques of power, strength, and hope? P, F, B, Bh, M, Y, R, L, V, Sh, Sh, S, H, Sh, Tr, Gya. And that's the Indian alphabet where our learning starts. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.